I want to start by talking about the program I'm going to be using to discuss 3D modeling and animation. And that's going to be Maya. It's done by Autodesk. It's a 3D graphics program, so you can see 3D animation, modeling, simulation, and rendering software. Now, they do have a free educational version, and I want to talk about what that means. When you use an educational version of a professional software, in the licensing agreement, it always says you can use it for educational use, but you can't sell what you make with it. So if you really wanted to make a video game and sell it, you cannot use this software unless you pay for the official version. And as you see, that's $1,620 a year. So why would I choose this instead of an open source software? Because a lot of our game companies use this for their modeling, and most of our colleges teach Maya. So if this is something you're looking at going into as a professional, this is a software you'll probably have exposure to, you'll have to work with. So to see really what that job's going to look like, I would advise you to start with Maya, even if it's just for educational purposes. Now, if you really want to sell your product, you know that's why you're doing this right now, I would recommend looking at Blender. And Blender is an open source 3D graphics program. It's free for any purpose, as you see, forever. You can download it. The interface is fairly similar, but it isn't an industry standard, and they do things a little differently. So a lot of independent developers use Blender, especially if you're in a smaller studio or you're doing it on your own. I know independent seems like in your own, but it can also use small studio. Whereas if you're looking at going into this professionally, you want to see what the professionals use, you want to use the same thing that a lot of DreamWorks movies are made of, that Disney's adapting to do their own modeling, that a lot of our local game companies are presently using, and as said, all of our colleges that I've talked to in the area are using. I'm sure there's a couple that are using another program such as Cinema 4D, and maybe a couple programs that will show you Blender so you can monetize, but Maya really is the most used modeling program, at least in my area, and I'm in the Baltimore and DC metro. Now, the nice thing is, since you're students, you can get this for free. And you can look on their page. I normally just do a Google search or another browser search of Maya Educational. It always comes up, and you'll get this Maya Student and Educator Software Autodesk. Now, you'll have to make a sign-in, and mine looks a little different because I'm already signed in, but you'll see that you either sign in or create an account. And you will need to create an account for your software to work. Now, I always recommend my students look at the system requirements of any software they want to install to make sure that their computers can handle it. I also recommend, just for your own purposes, downloading the newest version unless you know your school is using an older version. One reason is because they've switched their licensing. So now, it used to be you got a free 3-year license for whatever version you downloaded. Now you get a free educational 1-year license, but you have to upgrade it to the newest version every year. Some people don't like that as much because they like just using the same one for 3 years, not having to worry about it, especially if you're at the end of your educational career. But for me, as a high school teacher who knows that my students can now, instead of using their 3 free-year license in high school and then seeing if they can get another one in college, now they know they'll be able to get a new one their entire educational experience. Same for teachers. I have been teaching for, this will be my 18th year, and I have been able to get their educational license as long as they've had them. I've probably been focusing on this area more for like 12 years. So you can always look and see what the recommended software is, see if your computer meets it. If it doesn't, it'll run slow or it might not run at all. So that's another thing to consider when you're downloading 3D software. If we go back, all you have to do is you'll pick the version you want, you'll pick the operating system, and you'll pick your language. And once you do that, it will give you a license. I'm not going to show you the last step just because I did last video and it broadcast my license information. So you can get your own license and then you'll load Maya. And let me move that over because I already have it loaded. And Maya is going to look like this. And your first step is that you want to log in. Now, when I logged in, it gave me the option to start a free trial or to buy the software. And I didn't want any of those options. So I clicked the trial just so that I didn't accidentally click any information where I was buying the software for a year. And then I went to manage license. And here, in this manage license area, is where I could enter the information for my license that I got on that website. Now, if you don't save the information on the website, they will send you an email with your license information as well. So if you accidentally forget to save it there, just check your email. If you don't see it in your email, kind of check your trash or your spam. Anyway, that's how you set up Autodesk Maya, and we'll go into more next video.